Hello, I am Mr. Orange and this is video hashtag 565. In this video, I'm going to talk about 16 episode 11. It's called Fake Date. It's a Gen-centered episode. Before we get into this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe. This channel currently has 459 subscribers. We only need 41 subscribers to reach 500 subscribers. In the first scene of this episode, Jen is fantasizing about a male coworker who she finds really attractive. I do find it interesting that Jen has so many bisexual episodes in the first season. You remember Carson and Corey Holder, and now it's this guy. I think she had more bisexual episodes than Caitlin in the first season. We then find out about this kid's name. Coach Holder reveals that his name is Charlie Dobbs. And because Coach Holder has caught Jen fantasizing about the male co-worker, he makes Jen do 50 push-ups. In penalty box, there's a policy, if you mention love, Coach Holder makes you do 50 push-ups. I don't know why, but it's a dumb idea in my opinion. And how does Coach Holder know that Jen is fantasizing about Charlie Dobbs? If I was Jen, I would just make up a lie up. In the next part of the scene, Jen tries to ask Charlie for a coffee date as co-workers, but I don't think it goes well. They get interrupted by Coach Holder, who sets Charlie up to a task. The next part of the scene I found really funny. Kaylin comes into the penalty box, and it seems like Jen is she's fluttering her eyes at Charlie, where he's fixing like a dummy. When she comes in, she is about to explain what she can see. And I thought Charlie part of this bit was really funny. I think it made it look like he was groping the dummy's bottom. So when Caitlin was she knows what it looks like, Charlie thought it was about him. And Caitlin was about to spill the beans, but Jen slammed like a helmet on her head and shoved her in like a closet. And just about Coach Holder coming in, she threw a t-shirt on over the closet, so it made it look like that Caitlin wanted the shirt. I thought the whole scene was pretty much hilarious. Coach Holder wasn't believing Jen's lies, so it seemed like he made Jen do more push-ups. In the next part of the scene, we're at the Lemon. Jonesy is writing a guidebook where it's about how to score chicks for guys who can't score chicks. It's for a new job he has called Booktropolis. I assume it's an online job. I assume in this job he just reads and writes books. This makes me wonder why Jonesy doesn't try becoming an indie author where you don't work for anyone and you just write your own books. That way you don't have to be fired and you can just write your books whenever you like and get paid for it. This makes me think Jonesy could have gone self-employed or anything. The next part of the scene, I just want to break things down bit by bit, because there's so many lines in the scene that I just wanted to talk about. Jen comes in, she still hasn't grabbed Charlie's attention, so she wants advice from her friends how she could get his attention. First of all, according to Jonesy, it took 20 minutes for him to read the Cat in the Hat book, which is a children's book. It just shows that Jonesy isn't that smart. Why would it take 20 minutes to read that book? That should take you a few minutes. I also find it interesting that 16 references Cat in the Hat. I think that's unique and interesting. Also, it just shows that Jonesy lacks any sense of imagination. He can't take the fact that, it's a children's book where a cat is wearing a hat. And he's cats don't wear hat. Anyway, Jonesy spills some details about his book. It's a book about like scoring chicks. The chapter 4, the title is Avoiding the Parents. And Nikki just mocks Jonesy, saying, avoiding the author. I thought that was funny. So when Jen comes in to spill her situation with Charlie not noticing her, Jonesy jabbers in about his book, and his the first chapter is problems of making the first move. And Nikki kind of wants Jazz not to listen to Jonesy. Like, why would you ever listen to Jonesy? Anyway, Jonesy does state a line that I do agree with. It doesn't matter whether you're a girl or a boy or whoever you are, you always make the first move. So for that, I agree with Jonesy here. But then Jonesy mentions a line that I don't agree with. He says that all guys are players and you want to work on the ego angle. I don't think that's 100% true. It might work for some guys, but I know that's not for all guys. It does remind me of that one episode that I did review in Wings Club. It's a Pixie episode, and Darcy mentioned that all guys guys like to be flattered more than girls. I can see how you might think that, but that's not always the case. But then Jonesy asked Nikki a question that I don't feel like is relevant. He asked Nikki, would she like a guy who knows what to say to the ladies? I don't know what that has to do with what Jen is dealing with. She is the one who's asking the guy out. Wouldn't he ask, would you like a girl who knows what to say to the guys? And for me personally, I wouldn't like a person who knows what to say to me. To me, if someone knows what to say to me, I feel like they would come across as manipulative. Like the interactions don't feel authentic. It seems like pre-planned conversations. I would prefer a person who doesn't know what to say to me, but talks to me anyway. I don't know. I would find that wholesome and cute. Like you can tell, it's an awkward person who just wants to ask you out. And why not? Those sort of people I find harmless. Anyway, when Josie asked that to was Nikki responds does he know any? Like kind of implying that Nikki doesn't know a guy who says the right thing to a lady, and wonders if Josie knows anyone who might. In the next part of the scene, Josie goes off to help Jen. He's trying to help Jen let Charlie be interested in her. But this goes down miserably and hilariously. He tells Jen to wear this chip so he can tell Jen what to say to Charlie. So Jen grabs Charlie's attention, and then Jonesy tells Jen to tell Charlie that he's good at scoring. So that goes down well. And then Charlie brings his information about his scoring. I don't know if that's an innuendo or anything, but whatever. But hearing this makes Jonesy annoyed, and he calls Charlie an idiot, causing Jen to call Charlie an idiot. I don't know why, but I found that really funny. Jen realizes what she says immediately and tries to damage control it. And she ends up indirectly shouting at Jonesy, who Charlie can't hear or see. Like Jonesy should stop giving Jen wrong lines. He tells Jen not to blow it, and Jen is like, I'm not blowing it. And Charlie thinks Jen is saying this towards him. Like, could you blame him? Like, Jen is not saying this to anyone else. Of course, you think she's saying this to him. But this bit got me laughing so hard, I rolled on the floor laughing. Coach Holder hears a commotion, and he calls Jen out. Jonesy warns Jen about Coach Holder and tells her to abort the mission. But Jonesy got Jen panicking, causing her to trip on the skateboard and falling over. And she gets caught by Coach Calder, and I bet you he got her doing push-ups. Like he already had like a radio in his ear, so he probably could have heard Jan saying she's good at scoring or something. The whole scene was a hilarious masterpiece. After being humiliated, Jan and Jonesy come back to the lemon, and Jan slams Jonesy in the table. You know what? I'm on her side for this. That was so humiliating, but it was funny. So Jen is bothered about why Charlie is not interested in Jen, and she wants to know why. I mean, I can think of a couple of reasons why Charlie could not be interested in her. Maybe Charlie has a girlfriend. Or what if Charlie is homosexual? Or he could be asexual. Or maybe Charlie is just not interested in Jan. Or maybe he's oblivious to Jan's flirting signals. And I think Jude and Wyatt kind of hint by asking whether if Charlie is gay. They didn't use the words, but I don't know why they didn't use the words. Jen hears that there's a staff party at a penalty box and she wants to go with Charlie. And Caitlin comes up with an idea. Jen should make him jealous. So basically, Jen needs to have a fake date in order to make Charlie jealous. And this is where the title of this episode comes in. And then Caitlin mentions something I don't agree with. She says that guys want something they can't have. What does that mean? Like, this show needs to stop throwing sexist comments in this TV show. Like, stop saying all girls are like this or all guys are like this because it's not true. It might be true for some guys, but not for all of us. But what is that something that you want but you can't have? I don't get that. In the next part of the scene, we have a line of boys trying to be fake date for Jen. Jen is judging them from afar, and also Caitlin is here to judge as well. The first person on the line is Jonesy. So Caitlin asks Jonesy a few questions, and she asks what Jonesy could do in the date. And Jonesy says, like, if there's going to be an action. So he's kind of implying, like, could he have sex with Jen? Jen is repulsed by this and he does not want it. And it seems like Jonesy would, like, hook up with another girl in the party. So, he's basically going to cheat with his fake date. And for that, Jonesy gets disqualified. After a couple of boys, the next person on the line is Wyatt. So Wyatt gives Caitlin vanilla butterscotch latte. I don't know what that is, but that sounds delicious. And from what I can tell, it seems like a pretty sweet coffee drink. Anyway, Wyatt kind of questions why someone would drink flavored coffee. I don't know. I have had other flavored coffees before. Like I've had pumpkin spice latte before, and I didn't mind it. Anyway, Kayla wants some cream and sugar on it as well, and I can understand like why it's reaction from it. Like you're going to put cream and sugar. The drink sounds like it's a sweet drink, so I can understand like adding sugar and cream would make it even more sweeter. I mean, it is Caitlin. She likes things sweet. Anyway, when Wyatt starts to leave to, get some cream and sugar, Jen wants to know what song he's listening to on his tape. So Caitlin, listens to it, and Wyatt can hear it from afar. Like he didn't want Caitlin to listen to it. It's a song that he's working on, and he's not finished with it. And Wyatt, hearing this from afar, did not want this, so he rushes back in and just goes, "My song, my song." And he ends up waving his arms about like he created a dance. It was so funny, and then Nikki and Josie laugh at him, and then he gets disqualified for the dance. After a couple of other boys passing along, it's Jude's turn in the line. But for his bit, he aces with flying colors. He makes it easy for Kaylin and he gives her a drink after a long busy day juicing drinks, and he gives her a massage too. So therefore he wins and Jen picks Jude for her fake date. So Jen picks Jude. Josie can't believe that Jude got chosen and not him. And Josie tries to quote a movie. He says, "You just picked the wrong guy." Nikki tried to correct him by saying that it said, "You just picked the thong guy." And Nikki and Josie argue over this. Thing is, how would Nikki or Josie know what movie they were talking about? Neither of them mentioned what movie they were talking about. And I find it interesting that Nikki is talking about thongs. Like, a thong is a type of undergarments. I do find it interesting that the 16 does talk about adult things, which I don't mind. I'm glad that 16 doesn't shy away of talking about adult things in the kids' cartoons. In the next part of the scene, Jen and Jude arrive at the party. Jen wears a black dress and a red purse, carries a red purse. I'm not too fan of her look. I think it's rather too plain for my liking. But I do like Jude's outfit. He's wearing a blue waistcoat, which I think suits him and jazzes his look up. And I like that he's not wearing a hat. I think he makes him look fresh. At Kaki Bar, Nikki and Jonesy are still arguing over this movie. And Jonesy reveals the name of the movie. It's called Kung Fu Cop Partners. And there's only one way they'll prove each other wrong. Nikki and Josie decide to go to the movie together to see that movie. They sure are thinking so deeply about this movie.
In the next scene, we're back at the party. Wyatt and Caitlin manage to squeeze in. Wyatt is helping the party by putting up some music, and Caitlin offers some drinks for the guests. A few seconds later, Jen sees Charlie, but she still can't manage him to notice her. And then, Charlie goes to Wyatt and he requests a song, from Justin Timberlake. So here's a cultural reference. Jen comes in, coming up with a line that she knows a lot about Justin Timberlake, and she's a Justin Timberlake biggest fan. Just to impress Charlie, but she comes up with a wrong name of his Justin Timberlake's songs. But baby girl, you tried, but you could have come up with a popular song like Mirror or Cry Me a River. I love the fact that Charlie is into Justin Timberlake. I wonder if he's a fan of NSYNC. That would be iconic.
In the next scene, Jonesy and Nikki go to the movies just to see Kung Fu Cop Partners. And Jonesy starts being annoying with Nikki. But Nikki mentions something that I find interesting. She says that going movies with Jonesy is like going movies with her nephew. That would imply that either Nikki has a sibling or a cousin. Either way, I don't think we ever see her nephew with us. Not a sibling or a cousin. That's a shame because the only family we see from are Jen and Jonesy. It would be nice to see a family from other characters. They watched the movies and it proved that Nikki was right. The guy in the movie said you picked the thong guy, which would make sense because he picked the guy wearing a thong. But I found the movie interesting. The guy who was talking in this movie, he sounded a lot like Hero from the sushi restaurant. But Josie starts acting like a brat in the movies, and he leaves the movie before hearing the line. Like, why didn't you go to the bathroom earlier, like Nikki said before? And I also hate how, like, Jonesy acts like he's alright and all that. In the next part of the scene, after the movie ended, Nikki and Jonesy head towards the elevator to leave, and they still continue bickering, and this time it's about a button being pressed. I can feel Nikki's annoyance here. Like, Jonesy is such a jerk all the time. Like Nikki told you, she pressed the button, and Jonesy is too dumb to notice that she already did. If I was Nikki, I would have ditched Jonesy. Like, maybe use the escalator instead. And when they start to go in the elevator, like Jonesy and Nikki, they press multiple buttons because Jonesy doesn't believe like Nikki can press the buttons. Like, he gets involved all the time. And because of this, they end up stuck in the elevator.
In the next part of the scene, Jude is like balancing balls because he had so many energy drinks. He's basically high on the energy drinks. Because of this, Wise goes to Grimy to catch him some chamomile tea. On his way, Nikki and Josie sees him from down below. They try to bang in the elevator door to call out for Wyatt. Wyatt can't hear them properly. They sound muffled to him. To him, it looks like Jonesy and Nikki are telling him, my song, my song. That is what he says. He thinks they are mocking him for that. I mean, it did look like they were doing that. My son, wanna eat it. I know I can hate Jonesy for being jerkish. You know, I totally do. But I do also hate it when Nikki is being like physically abusive. Like Jonesy, yes, he is annoying, but did you need to strangle him? He only strangled you back for defense.
In the next part of the scene, we're back at the party. Jude is still high, like he is seeing visions of Caitlin glowing. There was some competition which Coach Holder is hosting, and the prize is like some like music box which looks like a football. And Jude totally ruins it by like using that ball thingy, and he totally ruins everything in the party. Charlie complains this to Jen about her fake boyfriend, and you know she called it quits for the night. So, Caitlin, Wyatt, and Jen try to help Jude, recover a bit. And Jen apologizes to Jude for being mean to him throughout the night. And then Nikki and Josie get freed from the elevator by Ron the rent-a-cop. In the next part of the scene, they're back at the lemon squeeze, and Josie, is nearly finishing his last chapter of his book. But apparently he got fired again. He didn't explain why he got fired. Maybe they didn't like his book. And then Jen gives Jude some tacos just to make it up for him for being mean to him. And at the end, Jen finally finds out why Charlie's not interested in her. Charlie has a girlfriend named Jill. So that's the end of the video. Now that's over, it's time to give out my favorite things and my least favorite thing about this episode. My favorite thing about this episode is the comedy. There are a couple of moments in this episode that made me laugh. Like, for example, that the first one would be where like Caitlin coming into the penalty box, and like Charlie was holding that dummy, and that whole scene was funny. The second thing about this episode that I found funny was Josie setting up Jan with Charlie, like when he's feeding Jan some lines to Charlie. That was incredibly funny, and also I did like the boys lining up to trying to be the fake dates, and I think the Wyatt part was funny, like his coming back to Scream. My least favorite parts of this episode. Well, first of all, I did not like Coach Calder. I don't like him and his stupid ass rules. The fact that you're talking about love, he gets you doing push ups. And I didn't like Josie being annoying towards Nikki in the movies. I understood her pain in that. But I also did not like Nikki strangling Jonesy in the elevator. Like, I know Jonesy is a jerk, but that's not tolerated. Why are you being abusive? I feel like Nikki gets away with it because, oh, she's a girl, she's allowed to strangle boys. It shouldn't matter what sex you are, you don't strangle other people. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and have a lovely day.